Apparently, Libertarian Gary Johnson and Green Party candidate Jill Stein are doing more than just talking to each other and talking to the media. They've been talking to a lot of voters. And that's that third-party presence that's starting to kind of creep into an interesting zone during this election. Let's take a look. Colorado, I thought the state, this is Quinnipiac, looked if it were just Trump against Hillary Clinton. See where they are? They're fairly close, right?
10
double
points
digit.
is not close.
Right, double digit. Look at what happens when Stein and Johnson get into the race. Now, there were a few of these polls last week. Now we're starting to see more. Look at how tight it gets. 23% of the vote would go to third party.
Let me speak to that, because the Commission on Presidential
These are battleground states, by the way.
Has decided that candidates need to hit 15% to get into the debates, which to me is a very, very bad decision for our democracy, given, as Pat and John and I have said, an increasingly large percentage of the electorate does not want Trump or Hillary. Johnson in that poll was at 16. Nationally, he's been high single digits or about 10. The fact that we are going to exclude them from the race when both of them have distinctive messages, voices to be heard, and reflect, I think, the public's desire for more, not less, candidates to be included is a bad decision and potentially could skew the results.
Pat, let's hear from Pat. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd just like to jump in on a couple of quick things on that. One is, this is a sign of how volatile it is. And as we all know, the debate commission is rigged by the two parties with a single purpose of making sure that the American people have only the options of voting Democrat and Republican. It is a scandal beyond belief. Beyond that, the reason they have such diverse support is that many people are not sure where they are, and it shows the volatility. And the last quick point I'd like to make to what Doug said in the last segment is this. I was listening to him. I thought I was listening to the French General Staff in 1940 as they explained the French, who had more tanks, more guns, more planes, and more troops than Germans, about how trench warfare still worked, while the Germans were using blitzkrieg. And that is a difference in this election.
So you were in both the Truman campaign and the Second World War, Pat. Is that correct?
Can I bring up a campaign that Pat wasn't?
Just trying to educate the audience, guys.
If you put the poll up of Colorado with the four-way race again, to speak to a campaign that Pat was in, this thing, it was, what is it? Can you put it up? Hillary was at 43, Trump was at 35 or something. It's almost a mirror image. Here we go. No, that's the one-way. Now the four-way.
Yeah, they're
put
getting
that one up.
They scroll in order.
Okay, Hillary 41, Trump 33, 16. Now this is almost a mirror image of 1992, when Bill Clinton got 43%. George H.W. Bush, the sitting president, got 37%, and Ross Perot got 19%. That's almost, those within a couple of points, the same thing.
There's one more. I want to take a look at Iowa, because, I mean, these are the states that, and you had made the comment, Doug, that she stopped spending in some of these states, Hillary Clinton. But look at how tight this is in Iowa. And then add the other candidates, the third-party candidates. Look, I think it's interesting. I mean, for them to still, and it's a little bit less that Johnson and Stein get here, but it's still 15%. Sure.
And let me make a point. We don't really know at this point what the net impact of Stein and Johnson will be. It looks like it's costing Hillary about 1%.
Well, it's another woman on the ticket.
Well, that's right. And Johnson has been getting, despite the fact that he's the Libertarian, he's been getting slightly more from Hillary than from Trump. But in a race like this, with, as John says, a large percentage of the vote up for grabs, the volatility is as real as Pat describes, we could find that the presidential race itself is decided in a couple of swing states, as it was in Florida in the year 2000 by Ralph Nader and in the Gore-Bush contest.
So, Pat, I want to ask you, though, I mean, obviously Jill Stein, a woman, Green Party, she kind of leans a little bit more toward Bernie Sanders. I don't know that they would necessarily take a chunk of votership out in terms of where they can get on the ballots, but what are your thoughts about it?
Well, the Green Party is on many ballots, enough to qualify for the debates, as I said. Look, the problem is they're being choked off the lack of oxygen from the media, which is determined to support Hillary Clinton and make this as narrow a choice as possible. However, if I were a good American who had a lot of money and wanted to give Americans a chance to have their voice, I would have a super PAC that would give Jill Stein a voice and let her be heard, as with the Libertarian.
We'll be right back.
And that